Typhoon Ragasa, with winds of 285 km/h, shatters China's coastline. Dawn had barely broken before it was split in two by blade-like bands of cloud, the wind whistling with the smell of salt and metal. In Guangdong, emergency beacons blinked along empty roads like an abandoned festival night. Schools, factories, and shops pulled down steel shutters. Loudspeakers blared evacuation instructions. Offshore, the sea surface rose into a wall of water. People hurried to seal doors, stack sandbags, and led one another to higher ground phones lighting up incessantly with alerts. In Hong Kong, airport boards flipped to all cancelled, the financial market closed, and the subway halted. To the south, Ragasa reached out. To the west, Ragasa cast a shadow and everywhere. If you are watching this moment, please hit subscribe to Horrific Happenings right now. We recount disaster stories so no one has to learn survival lessons alone. One click helps you receive earlier alerts and helps us continue making videos that might save someone in the next storm. Stay with us because one small click can be a big reminder for the community. The storm course surged like a giant cone. Slanting rain sheeted across streets and intersections suddenly turned into rolling channels of brown water. In the low-lying districts, roller shutters rattled violently. The sound of shattering glass mingled with rescue sirens. Along the shores, the first waves slammed into the seawall water, overtopped long streaks of foam like torn ribbons. The shelter-in-place order was repeated, but rapid response teams still waded through alleys, chest deep, knocking on every door, calling out each family by name. Stadiums lit up and opened as shelters. Thin blankets, hot noodles, and refugee registries were laid out along folding tables. In the Philippines earlier, Ragasa left a chain of land-slipped valleys, fishing villages submerged under storm surge, and power poles toppled like chessmen. Images went out worldwide. Boats stranded like toys. Small children huddling behind backpacks. A mother cradling her child asleep and startled by the rain drumming on tin. Those frames scrolled like a ticker at the bottom of the screen, reminding all coastal cities in the region that the exam had begun. In Shenzhen, and along the Pearl River Delta, response plans escalated. Schools turned into shelters, arenas into depots. Trucks delivered clean water, mobile medical units, and rerouted power. Each ward checked lists of the elderly and the ill. Highways were relaned, load limits were imposed on major bridges, and ports paused loading and unloading. Overhead, Ragasa spun like a soaking eye, staring straight at Asia's manufacturing core. On the ground, everything needed for an ordinary day, from breakfast bread to electronic components, suddenly seemed as fragile as a strand of hair. Power distribution boards flickered, logistics slowed, and GPS signals jittered. Several metro lines closed and buses turned back. Lines formed at gas stations and supermarket shelves thinned. But amid that scene were countless helping hands. Young people, piggybacked grandmothers through a rushing stretch. Drivers stopped and opened trunks to hand out raincoats. Shop owners passed around spare power banks. The storm churned the worst to the surface, but it also brought the best foaming up with the water. Offshore waves were forecast to be high gusts clamped down like a giant bell. The tide rising in phase with heavy rain turned the river mouths into funnels. Along the coastal fringe, clusters of houses were pried off their foundations. Drones captured corrugated roofs, flipping like fish scales. Lampposts bent wooden boats spinning and then vanishing behind a streak of white foam. People no longer counted every millimeter of rain. Numbers only mattered insofar as they could lead a family to safety. The whole region shifted into an emergency rhythm, multilingual text alerts, community radio, and real-time flood maps. But Ragasa is not just a storm. It is a loud illustration of a warming era. Storms, stronger, wetter, intensifying faster, shrinking preparation time from days to hours. The question, therefore, is no longer, will it repeat, but how do we prepare for the next time? Night lowered the city like a map of scattered lights. In the shelters, small stories connected. A security guard explained how to repin a hinge. A nurse took the blood pressure of an elderly man, just pulled from torrent. A child pointed at the notice board with a life jacket icon and asked, "Can we go home tomorrow?" Outside, the wind shifted, the rain thinned. But everyone knew another long day lay ahead, with mud, debris, receding water, and new calculations for life. Ragasa sows storm, but also holds up a mirror to us. The first lesson is early preparation. Don't wait for sirens to look for life vests, flashlights, a hand crank radio, and a map of high ground. The second lesson is community neighbors are the nearest mooring line. Share information, check on each other. Organize support groups that are easier to mobilize than struggling alone. The third lesson is long-term vision. Raise floor levels, open pathways for water to escape. Don't build into river mouths. Respect warnings, don't risk taking photos on the seawall. Storms strengthen as the climate changes. Peace strengthens as we change to live safer, kinder. If you find the video helpful, please subscribe to Horrific Happenings. Every follow is a brick in a digital safe zone for the community. We will continue to narrate, to warn, and to get through the gale days with you. Hit subscribe right now so you don't miss information that can help you and your loved ones stay safe in the next storm. Thank you.